Imagine a bright afternoon at school, where a young girl named Lily sat in the cafeteria with her friends. They were laughing and chatting when someone shared a rumor about another classmate. At first, it seemed harmless, just a bit of gossip. But as the words flowed, Lily felt a tug inside her. Should she join in or speak up for what was right? This moment is where real-life struggles often begin. We all face choices like Lily's every day. Should we follow the crowd or stay true to ourselves? These decisions might seem small, but they can lead to bigger challenges that affect who we are. When Jesus said, "If your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out," he wasn't suggesting we hurt ourselves physically. Instead, he was urging us to take serious action against anything that distracts us from living a good life. Think about what that means. Our eyes can represent our thoughts, desires, or even the people we surround ourselves with. Sometimes, we see things that tempt us to make choices we might regret later. Like Lily, we might find ourselves caught between fitting in and doing what's right. Imagine if Lily chose to speak up instead. She could have turned the conversation into something positive, maybe defending her classmate or changing the topic to something uplifting. By doing so, she would be plucking out the temptation to gossip and making a choice that reflects her values and character. This story speaks directly to us. Just like Lily, we all encounter moments where we must choose between right and wrong. Jesus encourages us to recognize these moments and take action. It's not always easy, but it's important to think about what influences our choices. As we reflect on this, let's consider our own eyes. What are the things we see or listen to that lead us away from our true selves? By being aware of these influences, we can learn to make better choices that honor our values and beliefs. And just like Lily could inspire her friends, we too can create a ripple effect of positivity in our lives and the lives of others. As we consider Lily's choice, it brings us to a profound teaching from Jesus: if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. At first glance, this might sound harsh or even confusing. After all, why would Jesus use such extreme words? Let's dive deeper into what he meant and how it speaks to us today. In the Bible, Jesus often used strong imagery to get his points across. When he spoke about plucking out an eye, he was emphasizing the seriousness of sin. His message wasn't about physical harm, rather, it was about understanding that some things in our lives can lead us away from goodness and truth. Just like Lily faced the temptation to gossip, we each have our own struggles, things that pull us into choices we may regret. Imagine if we took Jesus' words literally and thought about what plucking out represents in our lives. Are there things we watch or listen to that fill our minds with negativity? Perhaps it's a certain friend who influences us to make poor choices. Or maybe it's a habit that distracts us from pursuing our dreams and values. By identifying these negative influences, we can begin to take meaningful steps towards self-improvement. Jesus was urging his followers to be proactive. If something in our lives leads us into sin or makes it harder for us to live according to our values, we need to address it. This doesn't mean making drastic changes overnight, but rather recognizing patterns and making small adjustments where needed. To illustrate this further, think about a student struggling with their studies because they spend too much time on social media. If they realize that their distractions prevent them from succeeding academically, plucking out that distraction might mean setting limits on screen time or finding a quiet space to focus on homework. In this way, Jesus' message resonates now more than ever. It encourages us not just to avoid wrongdoing but to take action against the things in our lives that lead us away from who we truly want to be. By acknowledging these challenges and making appropriate changes, we can grow closer to living with intention and integrity. To truly understand Jesus' teaching about plucking out an eye, we need to dive into the rich context of the time in which he lived. Jesus preached in a world filled with cultural and religious expectations that shaped how people thought and acted. The society he addressed was deeply rooted in Jewish laws and traditions, where morality was often defined by strict guidelines. When Jesus spoke these words, he was speaking to a crowd that included his disciples, religious leaders, and everyday people. Many were wrestling with the balance between following the law and embracing a deeper relationship with God. They were used to hearing rules about what they could or could not do, but Jesus challenged them to look beyond the surface of these laws to understand their true meaning. In this time, sin was viewed as a serious matter, and people believed it could separate them from God. Jesus' strong imagery called attention to how sin could creep into their lives through seemingly small actions. He illustrated that giving into temptation, even something like gossip, could lead them down a path away from righteousness. Culturally, Eyes represented much more than just physical sight, they symbolize desire and perception. What one chooses to focus on can influence thoughts and actions profoundly. By saying "pluck it out," Jesus highlighted the urgency required in confronting sinful temptations before they took root in one's life. Furthermore, Jesus emphasized that it's not enough simply to avoid wrongdoing, we must actively seek to remove anything that might lead us into sin. This radical approach called his followers to examine their lives critically, leading them away from complacency. Imagine being part of that crowd, feeling both challenged and inspired by his words. Jesus was not just offering advice, he was inviting them, and us, to a transformative journey of self-discovery. His message was revolutionary. It encouraged individuals to take responsibility for their own spiritual health. As we reflect on this biblical context, let's remember that Jesus' teachings remain relevant today. By understanding the roots of his message, we can better apply it to our lives, creating positive change in our hearts and communities. We are invited not only to hear his words but also to let them guide our everyday choices toward deeper integrity and purpose. Now that we've explored the importance of Jesus' message, let's dive deeper into what sin and temptation really mean in our daily lives. Sin can be understood as anything that goes against our values, beliefs, or morals, those deep-down rules that guide us on how to treat ourselves and others. It can be as simple as making a choice that doesn't align with who we truly want to be. Every day, we face temptations that test our commitment to living well. For example, think about the pressure Lily experienced when her friends started gossiping. Many people feel compelled to follow along with their peers, even if they know it isn't right. This peer pressure can lead to choices that don't reflect our true selves, causing inner conflict and regret later on. Similarly, negative influences can come from our surroundings, whether it's the media we consume, toxic friendships, or unhealthy habits. Sometimes, it's easy to convince ourselves that these things are harmless or just a part of life. However, they can subtly lead us down a path away from integrity and purpose. What we watch on TV or the music we listen to shapes our thoughts and dreams in ways we might not even realize. Distractions also play a huge role in how we navigate temptation. In today's fast-paced world filled with technology and endless information, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We might find ourselves scrolling through social media instead of spending time with family or pursuing our passions. These distractions can make it challenging to focus on our goals and relationships. Recognizing that these temptations exist is the first step. It's about being aware of what pulls us away from the kind of person we want to be. Just like plucking out an eye represents taking drastic action against sin, we must also take proactive steps to eliminate those distractions from our lives. So whether it's setting boundaries with friends who lead us astray or limiting screen time to focus on what really matters, each choice is a step toward living more authentically. By understanding what sin and temptation look like in our everyday lives, we empower ourselves to make choices that align with our values and bring us closer to who we want to become. As we reflect on the importance of recognizing sin and temptation, let's turn our attention to Jesus' intent behind his striking words, "If your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out." This strong imagery serves a crucial purpose, emphasizing the seriousness of sin and the radical action we sometimes must take to avoid it. Jesus was known for using vivid language that captured the attention of his audience. By saying something as extreme as plucking out an eye, he wasn't advocating for physical harm, rather, he wanted to shock people into understanding the depth of sin's impact on their lives. Sin isn't just about breaking rules, it can create a wall between us and our true purpose, distorting how we see ourselves and others. Think of it this way: when someone repeatedly chooses negativity, whether through harmful habits, poor choices, or toxic relationships, it begins to cloud their vision of who they are meant to be. Jesus wanted his listeners to realize that ignoring these influences could lead them down a dark path. By using such forceful imagery, he urged them to take those influences seriously and take action before it was too late. This call to radical action might seem daunting, but it's also empowering. Jesus knew that transformation often requires difficult choices. Just as someone might need to cut ties with a friend who leads them astray, we may need to pluck out distractions in our modern lives that prevent us from focusing on what truly matters. Consider how this applies today. In a world filled with social media, constant notifications, and endless entertainment options, it's easy to lose sight of our goals and values. Taking Jesus' teaching to heart means identifying those distractions that pull us away from being our best selves and making conscious choices to step back. It's not about perfection but about progress. Each time we make a decision that aligns more closely with our values, like choosing kindness over gossip or setting boundaries with negative influences, we are taking meaningful steps toward living authentically. Ultimately, Jesus' message encourages us not just to avoid wrongdoing but to be proactive about shaping our lives for the better. As we navigate our daily choices, let's remember that we have the power to change our circumstances and become the individuals we aspire to be. This journey starts with acknowledging what we need to pluck out in order to move forward with intention and purpose. As we consider the importance of Jesus' message and the actions we must take to live authentically, it's essential to talk about self-reflection. This step is crucial in recognizing areas in our lives where change is needed, those places where negative influences might be leading us away from what is right and true. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, not just to check your appearance but to look deeply into your heart and mind. What do you see? Are there choices, habits, or even people that cloud your vision or distract you from being your best self? Just like Lily had to confront the temptation of gossip, we all have our moments of weakness that require honest self-examination. Take a moment to think about your daily life. Are you surrounded by friends who uplift you, or do some pull you into drama and negativity? Maybe it's time to evaluate these relationships. Cutting ties with those who consistently lead you astray can be tough, but remember that this radical action is necessary for your growth and well-being. Next, consider the media you consume. Is the content you watch or read contributing positively to your mindset? Sometimes, we get caught up in shows or social media that feed our insecurities or foster unhealthy comparisons. These influences can hinder our ability to focus on our goals and values. Ask yourself if it's worth the sacrifice of your peace and happiness. Moreover, think about your daily habits. Are there distractions that keep you from pursuing your passions or building meaningful connections? In this fast-paced world filled with screens and noise, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. Reflecting on how you spend your time can help identify areas that need change. Self-reflection isn't always easy, it requires courage and honesty, but it's a powerful tool for transformation. As we take stock of our lives, let's remember that every small step we take toward removing negativity is a deliberate choice toward living authentically. In the end, embracing self-reflection allows us to align more closely with our values and purpose. It gives us the clarity we need to make conscious decisions that bring us closer to who we aspire to be. So, let's commit to looking inward, identifying what we need to pluck out, and taking those steps toward a brighter path filled with intention and authenticity. As we continue our journey through Jesus' teachings, it's inspiring to look at some biblical stories that illustrate how individuals faced temptation and made difficult choices in their lives. These stories not only reflect the struggles of humanity but also show us how to apply Jesus' teachings in practical ways. One powerful example is the story of Joseph from the Old Testament. Joseph was a young man who found himself in a dire situation when he was sold into slavery by his brothers. While serving in the house of Potiphar, he gained favor due to his hard work and integrity. However, he faced a significant temptation when Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him. In that moment, Joseph had a crucial choice. He could have given in to temptation for personal gain or maintained his integrity and loyalty. Joseph chose the latter. He refused her advances, saying, "How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" Genesis 39 verse 9. This decision wasn't easy. It put him at great risk of angering Potiphar and even landing him in prison. Yet, by putting his values first, Joseph demonstrated a powerful act of self-control and commitment to righteousness. Ultimately, God rewarded Joseph for his faithfulness, leading him to become second in command in Egypt. Another relatable example comes from the story of David and Bathsheba. King David made a grave mistake when he allowed his desire to guide his actions, leading him into an affair with Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah. After realizing the wrongness of his actions and facing severe consequences, David sought repentance. He wrote Psalm 51 as a heartfelt plea for forgiveness, expressing deep remorse for straying from what was right. Both these stories teach us about facing temptation head-on by prioritizing our values over immediate desires. Just as Jesus urged his followers to take radical steps against influences that led them away from righteousness, Joseph and David's experiences highlight the power of making tough choices rooted in integrity. As we reflect on these biblical examples today, let's consider how we can follow their lead. When confronted with temptation or negativity in our own lives, whether it's gossip like Lily faced or distractions that pull us away from our true selves, we can choose to stand firm like Joseph or seek forgiveness like David. Each choice we make is an opportunity for growth and alignment with our higher purpose. In embracing this wisdom from Scripture, let's commit ourselves to act with courage and integrity as we navigate our daily decisions, removing what leads us astray and choosing paths that honor our values. Together, we can embody the teachings of Jesus in meaningful ways by learning from those who came before us. As we reflect on the powerful teachings of Jesus and the biblical stories we've explored, it's important to connect these lessons to modern-day examples of individuals who have made difficult choices to stay true to their beliefs and values. These real-life stories provide inspiration and show us how to apply Jesus' teachings in our contemporary lives. Take the example of Malala Yousafzai, a young Pakistani girl who stood up for girls' right to education in a society that often denied them this basic opportunity. Despite facing threats and even an attempt on her life, Malala remained steadfast in her belief that education is a fundamental right for everyone. Her courage illustrates the concept of plucking out negative influences, as she chose to stand against oppressive forces rather than conform to societal expectations. Today, she is a symbol of resilience and determination, inspiring millions around the world to fight for their rights. Another example is the story of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who led the civil rights movement during a time of deep racial injustice in America. Faced with immense pressure and danger, King chose nonviolent resistance in pursuit of equality and justice. He embodied integrity and moral courage, urging others to follow his example. King's teachings remind us that sometimes we must take radical steps, just as Jesus urged, to confront injustice and uphold our values, rather than remaining silent in the face of wrongdoing. Then there's the story of Bethany Hamilton, a professional surfer who lost her arm in a shark attack at a young age. Rather than allowing this tragedy to define her, she chose to embrace her passion for surfing and became an inspiration to many. Bethany's journey reflects the importance of perseverance and faith in overcoming personal hardships, similar to how Jesus encourages us to rise above our struggles and remain true to ourselves. These modern-day heroes show us that applying Jesus' teachings isn't just about recognizing temptation, it's about taking courageous action in our lives. Whether it's standing up for our beliefs like Malala, fighting for justice like Martin Luther King Jr., or displaying resilience like Bethany Hamilton, these individuals have made significant sacrifices to stay aligned with their values. As we ponder these examples, let's challenge ourselves to identify moments when we might need to make tough choices or confront negativity in our own lives. Inspired by their stories, may we find the strength to act with integrity and courage, living out the message of Jesus in meaningful ways as we navigate our daily decisions. As we explore the challenges of living authentically and upholding our values, it's essential to recognize the power of community in this journey. When we face struggles and temptations, having a strong support system can make all the difference. Just as Jesus built a community with his disciples, we too can seek support from friends, family, and faith communities to help us navigate our challenges. Think about Lily again. As she faced the temptation to gossip about her classmate, imagine how different her experience could have been if she had confided in a trusted friend or an adult who guided her toward making the right choice. A supportive community can provide wisdom, encouragement, and accountability when we feel weak. They remind us of our values and help steer us back on track when we stray off course. Consider a real-life example, the story of recovery groups like Alcoholics Anonymous, AA. These communities are built on the principle that by sharing their struggles with addiction, members can find strength in one another. They come together not only to support each other but also to hold each other accountable for their choices. In such an environment, individuals feel empowered to confront their temptations head-on, knowing they are not alone in their fight. Faith communities can also play a vital role in our lives. Whether it's a church group or a gathering of friends who support each other spiritually, these environments encourage open dialogue about struggles and temptations. They often provide mentorship and guidance through shared stories of overcoming adversity, similar to how Jesus shared parables to teach important lessons. It's important to remember that no one is meant to go through life's challenges alone. We all have moments where we need encouragement and support. Just like Joseph had his dreams, David had his followers, and Jesus had his disciples, we too benefit from the strength found in relationships. As you reflect on your own life, consider who is in your community. Are there friends or mentors that you can turn to during difficult times? Building these connections takes effort but is incredibly rewarding. When we surround ourselves with those who uplift us and share our values, we create a safe space for growth and healing. So as you navigate your daily choices and face temptations, remember to lean on your community. Accept that help is available, let people walk alongside you as you strive for authenticity. Together, we can embody Jesus' teachings, support one another through trials, and take meaningful steps toward living lives rooted in integrity and purpose. Now that we've explored the powerful teachings of Jesus and the examples of individuals who lived out those principles, let's take a moment for emotional reflection. I invite you to pause and look inward, considering your own life and the choices you make every day. What might you need to pluck out in order to live more fully in line with your values? Think about it. Are there habits, relationships, or distractions that pull you away from being your best self? Just like Lily had to confront the temptation to gossip, we all have our own struggles. Maybe it's a friendship that brings negativity into your life or a habit that distracts you from your goals. Take a few seconds to reflect. What are those areas where change is necessary? It could be something as simple as limiting time spent on social media if it leads you to compare yourself to others, or perhaps distancing yourself from someone who influences you in ways that don't align with who you want to be. Consider how these changes can empower you. Removing negative influences isn't always easy. It requires courage and commitment, but think about the freedom and clarity that comes with living authentically. Jesus' message isn't just about avoiding sin, it's about actively seeking a better path for ourselves. As you think through this, remember the stories we've shared. Like Joseph, who chose integrity over immediate temptation, like Malala, who stood firm despite immense challenges, or like Bethany Hamilton, who embraced her passion after facing adversity. They didn't let their circumstances define them but instead made conscious decisions that aligned with their values. Now, I encourage you to write down one thing you can pluck out from your life, a distraction or negative influence, and one step you can take today to start making that change. Whether it's reaching out for support from someone in your community or setting boundaries in certain relationships, each action counts. As we conclude this reflection, let's commit to living with intention and authenticity. Together, we can embody the teachings of Jesus by making choices that reflect our true selves and inspire others along the way. Remember, transformation begins within us. Let's lean into it with hope and courage as we navigate our paths forward. As we consider the steps we can take to live more authentically, it's crucial to remember that change often begins with small actions. Just as Jesus encouraged his followers to make radical changes to avoid sin, we too can take proactive steps in our daily lives. These actions don't have to be monumental. Even the smallest decisions can lead to significant transformations. Let's start with prayer. Prayer is a powerful tool that connects us with God and helps us gain clarity about the changes we want to make. It's a moment to pause, reflect, and seek guidance. If you're facing temptation or struggle, take time each day to pray for strength and wisdom. Ask questions like, "What do I need to let go of?" or "How can I better align my actions with my values?" Through prayer, we invite divine support into our lives. Next, consider seeking guidance from those around you, friends, family members, or mentors who inspire you. Sharing your struggles with someone you trust can provide fresh perspectives and encouragement. They may offer insights you hadn't considered or share their own experiences with overcoming challenges. Remember, building a support system is vital for personal growth, and you don't have to face your battles alone. Additionally, focus on making conscious choices each day. Reflect on your routine. Are there habits that don't serve your highest self? Maybe it's time to set limits on how much time you spend on social media or choose uplifting content that inspires rather than distracts. Even small changes in how you spend your time can lead to a more fulfilling life. Embracing these small steps is like planting seeds for personal transformation. Each decision builds on the last, creating a ripple effect that can lead to profound changes over time. Just as Joseph chose integrity and Malala stood firm for her beliefs, your choices today can pave the way for a brighter tomorrow. So take a moment now, think of one small action you can commit to this week. It could be dedicating time to a passion project, reaching out to someone for support, or praying for guidance. Each step forward is a step toward living in alignment with your true self. Together, let's make these conscious choices and inspire each other along the way. Remember, every small action counts on the journey toward authenticity and integrity. By taking these steps, we not only honor our values but also embody the teachings of Jesus in our everyday lives, transforming ourselves and inspiring those around us. As we come to the end of our exploration of Jesus' teachings, I want to leave you with a heartfelt message of hope. Life is filled with challenges, and we all encounter struggles that can sometimes feel overwhelming. But through it all, we have the transformative power of following Jesus' teachings to guide us. Remember, the message of Jesus was not just a warning about sin, it was an invitation to a better life, a life rooted in love, integrity, and authenticity. When he spoke about plucking out what leads us astray, he was encouraging us to take action toward healing and growth. It's about making choices that align with who we truly are and who we aspire to be. You are not alone in this journey. Just as Jesus gathered his disciples and built a supportive community around him, you too can find strength in those who uplift and encourage you. Seeking support from friends, family, or faith communities can provide the foundation you need during tough times. These connections remind us that we are part of something greater, and together, we can navigate our challenges. Take comfort in knowing that transformation is possible, no matter where you are on your journey. Each small step you take toward aligning your actions with your values counts. Whether it's reaching out for help, committing to daily prayer, or making conscious choices about the influences in your life, these actions add up to meaningful change. As you move forward from this moment, I encourage you to embrace hope and courage. Reflect on the steps you can take and trust that each decision brings you closer to the person you want to become. Remember the stories of those who faced their fears and chose to live authentically, like Lily, Joseph, Malala, and many others who inspire us. Let this be a reminder: you have the power to transform your life by living out these teachings daily. Embrace the journey with an open heart, knowing that every effort you make is a step toward a more fulfilling and authentic existence. Together, let's honor our values, support each other through our struggles, and embody the teachings of Jesus as we strive for a life filled with purpose and meaning.